name is Vincent Faney. I'm the producer of a fairly new show, Vinsanity Unplugged, in search of game changers. Go through the community and the world at large to hunt down people who are extraordinary ability, who are basically working outside the box, ahead of the curve in their passion or their career or their sport. I seek out athletes, I seek out inventors, doctors, people in the fields of medicine, engineering, very eclectic. Today, I'm looking at a game changer in politics. His name is Stefan Streck.
Yes, Stefan Streck.
Stefan Streck, and he dared to take on Mr. Peter DeFazio. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending if you're a Republican or Democrat or how you feel about Stefan, Stefan did not make the cut.
Allegedly.
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 So we're here to talk to him today about that. So Steve, Stefan, Stefan, tell us a little bit, start off with just a little recap and then share with us a concern of yours about the recount.
All right, so, in Oregon, we have a paper ballot system. It's a mail-in ballot. Now, most people consider this to be a relatively foolproof system because paper ballots are done by people. However, this system is just as flawed as any other electronic voting system because all these paper ballots are fed through machines that are easily manipulated by people inside the system,
So it's not electronic, it's done with paper and then mechanization.
Yes, yes.
And you have an idea of how potentially that things could be skewed fraudulently on just the paper end, the counter end, and the mechanization end?
Oh, all the way through. All the way through.
Okay.
We're talking about a system that is dirty and rotten and corrupt to the core. And, this is the reason that American politics is coming to the state that it's at today is because of, it's not just corruption at the top, it's corruption from the bottom all the way up to the top by people involved within both sides of the political system. Yeah.
So you say this is happening in America today.
Yep.
What other countries do things differently?
I'm not too well versed on other countries and their systems. If anything, they're worse off than we are. I mean, hey, there's a reason America's #1, but they're trying to take us down. I think a lot of this election fraud, is highly influenced by other factors. It's all about money.
Okay, so just to give the audience a backdrop, a feasible. This isn't like a one-time thing. You don't think that something's going dirty now. From what I remember that there was a contested race between Gore and Bush.
Yeah.
So and what went wrong there?
Well, so far as I understand, there was something like a box of 70,000 votes that they just put in the corner and forgot about, and they got called out on it.
Forgot about it?
Yeah, exactly. It happens all the time.
Okay.
It's.
And then there was weird stuff about registering people who registered to vote who had been dead or been in prison for years. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the typical things.
And there was a certain company. Was it Acorn then, or is that a later company?
I don't recall specifically, but all across American politics for literally hundreds of years now, we've had instances of dead people voting, fictional people voting, people voting in multiple states. And this has gone on for too long.
Now, you were telling me off camera a little while ago that we have about 300 and some million people in the United States.
Yep.
Yet, from what the city clerk in Eugene was telling Stefan, is that there's let's just for instance, there's 3.5 more million people than actually are alive in the United States that are registered voters. So that means from birth to death, all the people in the United States that encompasses 300 million, there's actually 303.5 million registered voters. So there's a lot of registered voters, and we know the babies aren't voting.
Yeah.
We know they're not
Exactly.
registered. We know a lot of adults don't register.
Yep.
That's a lot of people. So That's weird. And then tell the audience
Yep.
what the city clerk told you, because we have, like you said, 150,000 people in
Yeah,
Eugene.
yeah. Eugene, Oregon, population of about 150,000, has 330,000 registered voters. That's what they told me 2 years ago after the mayor's election. Because something smelled funny to me. I wanted to know, how many votes were disqualified because of signatures and other allegations. I know personally about 3 people that told me their votes were disqualified because of the signatures not matching up. City clerk told me there was literally only 3 people that were disqualified for having an invalid signature. The chances that I know all 3 people that had their vote disqualified because of the signature are relatively low. I think they're just making these numbers up, honestly.
That sounds weird.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the record, if I was to be an investigative reporter, would those 3 people come forward and say, "Yeah, I was, blah blah blah"?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So you could verify it. They would verify it. It just sounds like that out of all the voters, that only 3 were disqualified, and yet 3 of your friends were disqualified. That's kind of, you would think that it'd be more than 3, just for out of 300 and some registered voters, or 150,000, 300 and some thousand.
330,000 registered voters.
Or
only 150,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about more than twice as many registered voters as there are people in the city.
Right.
And that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they said it as casually as
so
if
the population of adults should be maybe, let's just say 75% of the population are adults.
Yeah, optimistically.
I mean,
hey, totally,
not counting kids. So that's like 75,000. That's like 75,000 or so people.
Yeah.
Should be registered voters. Now, we were speculating that perhaps this number, 330,000 registered voters, may be people who used to live here who no longer live here. Maybe people that used to be alive that are no longer alive. So maybe there's just a lot of people in the books who haven't signed, who the system hasn't expunged. So that doesn't mean that's not in itself necessarily indicative that there's potential for voting fraud. That just means they keep bad records.
I think that
I'm concerned about the potential, what you were telling me earlier, with the way they do counts and recounts and who's looking over it and going into a back room unattended.
Well, exactly. And still, for each of those registered voters, there is a ballot printed. We have a paper ballot system. So
that's right.
Yeah. So if we're talking about, people that either don't live here or they're dead or possibly completely fictional, who are those ballots going to? Where are those ballots going? And then,
well, the
counting of these ballots is really what gets to me.
The most optimistic is the ballots. You're right. If they're on record, they're going out to a mailing address somewhere.
Yep.
So at a house, and I've seen this. I've seen where people who used to live in my house used to be roommates. You're right.
Yep.
They get those. They get those. Of course, I throw them away. I don't fill them out.
Yeah.
So in the most optimistic way of looking at it, there's no fraud. Those things get caught.
And the most optimistic viewpoint
is they're tossing the dumpster, and some of the people who, because a lot of people aren't registered, a lot of people who are registered don't vote.
Yep.
A lot of people who are registered don't even fill out the ballots.
Yeah.
Okay. How many ballots did they say they collected during this time? There should be a number like, we don't know who won yet, but there are 100,000 ballots turned in. Do they have those figures ready for you?
Record low voter turnout. It was something like 60, 70,000 for the entire district, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, record low voter turnout.
Wow.
So, despite being record low voter turnout,
right,
when I called them up and I said, I want a recount. I want to see how these votes are counted. I want cameras there. I want some supervision. I want to know who's counting these votes. Preferably, I want it live streams. People can watch from home.
Yeah.
We have body cameras on police officers. Why don't we have body cameras on the vote counters?
Yeah.
Now, it's not just some huge room full of tons of volunteers that are counting these votes. Each county has 2 panels. Each panel has 4 people on them. And they run all the ballots through a machine that counts them. And then those results go to each county clerk, who goes in the back room with no supervision, and then tells everyone the result. However, that's the result that they give out on election night. That's the result they tell everyone is the official vote, the official count. However, as a electoral candidate, I can't contest those results until the county clerks officially certify those results, which they have up to an additional 3 weeks to complete that certification. So how come they're telling everybody that there's an official result when they themselves cannot guarantee that result? How come the election is allegedly over? People, concede, shake hands, say, "Oh, that's too bad, good game."
Yeah, I saw a situation.
I think it's completely corrupt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't believe a single cent of this system. What we should have is a mandatory hand count for every election, every ballot, because these machines are very easily rigged and manipulated.
Things slide through.
Well, they don't just slide through. They have backdoor programs in them, admittedly by the people who have created both the hardware and the software.
Well, when I worked in the post office, they had high-speed machines, even mechanized machines where we had to key things in. We could key 100%, but sometimes 2 pieces, 3 pieces would get stuck together and go in. And they go into the 2 of them would go into a bin that was counted as, say, Cresswell, but you had something that might have been Portland or something else. So stuff, or it might just, it counts. Like you have something that will actually, the hand will go over to pick up the letter. But it'll drop the letter and go like that, and it counts, falsely counts. So mechanization is not perfect. High-speed stuff is mechanization is even less perfect. It gets stuff done faster, and the optical character readers read the stuff, but they read perfectly. But there's stuff that gets jammed, destroyed. Several things go through, so it's not perfect. It's less perfect in some ways, better in others. So
it's not just imperfect; it's fraudulent.
It could be fraudulent.
You can look it up online. Just YouTube voter fraud. There are the people who have built the machines and designed the software for these machines that have testified that these machines are rigged.
These are the people
just
who
as rigged
design
as
it. They
okay.
So
the software and
so why do
mechanical
they continue
engineers
using it? Why? Well,
because the system is rigged. They rig these elections. They rig the local elections just like they rig the
okay, but who's in charge?
Federal elections.
Because sometimes, I mean, to be honest, and I know you are an honest person, that sometimes
just say what I believe.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying is that I'm going to go on a limb and just going to say, for the sake of argument, that you're right.
All right.
It's rigged. But sometimes, because every season there seems to be voter fraud, regardless if the Democrats come in the power or the Republicans come into power. And there's also often good evidence to show that that somehow somebody, whether it's the Democrats or somebody higher up, some mysterious cabal, basically was
the deep
rigged
state.
Rigged it for the Democrats this time and the next time for the Republicans. Who is involved with this alleged rigging? Who decides? Who decides? I mean, how does it work? How do either side? Because I mean, both sides have accused each other. You got people stepping forward saying, "Our company who made this, I who designed the software, this and that, it's rigged." But who's in charge of them? Who's? I mean,
I guess that's their job is to stay hidden.
And you said deep state?
The deep state.
I've never heard that term before.
Really?
No.
Oh, fascinating. All right. Well, the deep state would refer to typically old money, corrupt individuals, heads of corporations.
Sort of like the Illuminati kind of thing, or no?
And that's
like the certain powerful families throughout the world that kind of run things.
Yes, exactly. Foreign influence.
The
often
1% of the 2%.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
So, moving forward, it's not very often that we actually have an opportunity to expose these people. You know, almost nobody actually demands a recount and sees it through to the end. It's incredibly rare. And the reason why it's rare is because it's expensive. And they make it expensive on purpose because they don't want people to know what they're doing. When I called Douglas County told me it would probably cost, estimate, about $3,500 to $5,000 to recount their votes for the Republican race for the 4th Congressional District.
For that county.
For that county.
That doesn't seem overly.
Lane County, when I called them, they told me it would take anywhere between $15,000 and $35,000 to count their Republican votes for the 4th District U.S. Representative race. Douglas County and Lane County have a relatively proportional amount of votes, and they use the same machines and the same software. So how come one county clerk is telling me between like 5 and 6 times the number that the other county clerk is telling me? They're making these numbers up.
I mean, if we're going to look at like the potential for alleged fraud.
Yep.
That's
what
and I'm
it
not
is.
making any accusations. I just
No.
want to tell the audience I'm not making any accusations. I'm just simply trying to be neutral about this.
Yep.
But let's talk hypothetical. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible.
Yep.
Right? Machines in themselves can overcount, undercount,
Yep.
do all sorts of stuff. So
Especially if that's what they're made to do.
So
Yeah.
even if they're not made to do, but if they're made to, and,
Yeah.
and of course we know that it's not out of the realm of possibility. People with agendas and so forth will do what they can get away with if they can.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not saying that's what happened this time, but that's happened in the past, and there are people like that.
Yep.
Two, what you're
Yep.
saying, to go, I didn't know this, that
Yep.
the clerk goes into a room unattended.
Completely unattended. No supervision.
Now that, I don't see any good reason. I'm not saying that the person that's done so that they will definitely miscount, but that leaves the potential, for a miscount. I mean,
Yep.
if anybody was paid off, like in a side, I want you to kind of, miscount. Let's
Yep.
say I'm a wealthy old money guy. Just I don't give a shit about the system, and I want to be fraudulent. So I'm going to say, okay, Stefan, we need this. We need a certain percentage.
Yep.
We want you to undercount for the Republicans by this much, and we want these are what we want you to do.
Yep.
Here's a crib sheet, and you go in the back room and play ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll send you on a nice junket. Then guess what? We got some we got all sorts of perks for you.
Exactly.
That could be done.
Exactly.
I'm
Hypothetically.
not saying that that's what's been done, but
Yeah.
the very fact that could be done.
Yep.
When there are ways of mitigating, when there's ways of preventing that,
Exactly.
we need to prevent it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's no reason that this shouldn't be impossible
Right.
to rig an election.
Right.
The fact that they make it completely possible, and not just possible, but highly plausible, is, in and of itself, absolutely wrong. This is immoral, and this is something that the American people deserve to investigate and expose within the system. Because for almost 3 years now, it's been in the news every single day, this Russia scandal, that Russia scandal, when in reality, everybody knows that the 2016 Democrat primary for the presidential nomination was rigged. Nobody thinks that Hillary Clinton actually beat Bernie Sanders. She couldn't fill a coffee house
Right.
with her supporters. Bernie Sanders was filling football stadiums. And then the Democrats come out of their back room and say, oh, surprise, Hillary Clinton won. And then for 3 years since then, they've blown smoke and mirrors in every direction trying to blame Russia for Trump winning.
Just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And I know I'm nonpartisan. You're a Republican.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't have a dog in either fight. But it would make sense. It would make sense that even the Republicans would want Hillary to kick Bernie's ass, kick his butt, in a way.
No.
Because this is what some theorists said is that in their mind Bernie had more votes and so forth. Something weird happened where Hillary took Bernie out.
Yeah. And the Democrats wanted Trump to win because they thought they could beat him.
Right.
Right.
And the thing is that right. And so
Yep. That's what they were doing.
But the thing is that they thought the Democrats wanted Trump.
The Democrats wanted Trump to win the 2016
'cause they thought he
nomination.
could beat
because they thought that Hillary Clinton would beat Trump. Every single late-night talk show host that has been hating on Trump for the past 3 years was cheering him on when he first entered the race, because they were expecting him to lose.
Quite frankly, in my mind, and this is just being naive politically, I thought in some ways that Trump had the biggest chance because of a lot of people were tired of a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yep.
And so, but I did not think, I wasn't sure. I didn't think, if I had to wave a wand, I would say that more Democrats, because the Democratic Party lost a lot of people after Bernie got beat. There were a lot of Democrats that that's it. I'm voting independent. I'm not voting. I'm not. So there were a lot of people ticked off.
Their scam backfired.
And so there were a lot of Republicans I know who were like hoping that Hillary would take it because they felt that she had she was so disliked that a lot of Democrats wouldn't vote for her, and that maybe they wouldn't vote for Trump, but they wouldn't vote for her, and then they would vote, they would just go independent or not vote. A lot of Republicans were happy that I know that Hillary won, even though they may disagree with Bernie's economic plan. A lot of Democrats disagree with Bernie's economic plan. I know a lot of libertarians do, a lot of Republicans do. Hillary did, but a lot more people seemed to like Bernie than Hillary. And then it came down to like Bernie was out, and then it was Hillary and Trump. And there were a lot of people who didn't want to vote for either. They were like, man, I'm voting for Gary Johnson or something.
The majority of Americans don't vote. If the majority came out and voted, we'd have a very different system from what we have today. But the reality is, the majority of people don't vote because they think the election is rigged. The majority of people do not enter politics because they think the elections are rigged. So what we've got here is a very rare opportunity, to demand a recount. We can demand a supervised recount. We want to know who these people are that are counting the votes. We want it televised. We want it live streamed. That way people from home can watch on the internet as these votes are counted by hand. Because a recount has to be done by hand. A recount can't be done through the machines. Because even...
And your argument was that if it's got to be done by hand, why not do it that way the first time?
Exactly. When I called them up and I said, so how much money is this going to cost to do a recount? I get the whole, you know what it sounds like when someone's about to lie to you. They go, taking a quick breath, then they spiel out this whole explanation about the one time with the one thing and the other person, and this is why I don't want you to do what you want to do. That's exactly what I got from them.
Who's allowed to ask for recounts? Just the people who run for office?
No. Citizens are allowed to demand recounts.
Did they know that it was you that was asking?
They know it was me that was asking. They know exactly who I am in those elections offices.
And the people, generally Eugene is a lot of ensconced, a lot of Democrats, right?
It does have a majority of Democrat population. However, there is a significant portion of Republicans in Eugene, actually, because the majority of liberals in Eugene are so sick of the corruption within the Democratic Party, they're not even registered Democrats anymore. They're just, unregistered, nonpartisan, or independent, and that's how they identify, because people, they're abandoning the Democratic Party left and right because of the corruption that is completely apparent at every level of their organization.
But you know Jesse Ventura, Governor Jesse Ventura. He used to be a pro wrestler. Then he became governor of Minnesota. He became mayor, then became governor of Minnesota.
Sounds like a good guy.
Okay. Okay. So later he ran in the independent ticket. Okay. Then later he has his own show, Conspiracy Theory, and all that.
Okay. Totally.
So he basically he's somewhere between a constitutionalist, independent, libertarian of sorts. Okay. So, the way he talks, forget about just potential voter fraud. He says the way the system's set up now, when you have a two-party system, even though we have all these other parties, essentially, and this is something I didn't realize till quite late in life, is that in the primaries, the only people that you can vote for are Republican or Democrat.
In a lot of places, that's how they set it up. Oregon
you
actually.
can't vote for the Libertarian or the Independent that's running at the same time.
In Oregon, you currently can. The third parties have their own nomination
Well, you have to
primary
register
process.
as either a Republican or a Democrat to get in a Republican-Democrat primary.
Oh yes, and if it's a closed primary
some states
system,
it's different.
yeah, California is different.
Yeah,
They have a what's known as a jungle system, where
jungle,
top
right.
two finishers,
Yeah.
go on. So
Okay.
it's pretty interesting the way different states
Yeah.
organize.
I kind of wish it was like, I wish all systems were like that. But anyways, what Ventura was saying,
Yep.
and I agree with this based on my studies when I was taking psychology and sociology and so forth. In any given social circle, any given social environment, let's say you start developing groups.
Yep.
When you have, right now we have two powerful groups,
Incredibly powerful groups. Yeah.
polarized,
Yep.
Democrats, Republicans.
Yep.
And the thing is that we talked about this before, 90% of what's important to us, you guys agree on. Nobody says, the hell with schools. Everybody wants a better education. Everybody wants their kids to have
Yeah, just disagree on how to achieve that. Exactly.
how to
Yeah,
achieve it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is it's on how to do it. But even a lot of other things is sometimes it seems like that the parties, not you,
Hey.
not DeFazio, not this person, it seems like overall the parties make certain moves that kind of hold back certain people who will believe in their platform to do or not do just for the greater good of the party instead of the actual, in my opinion, some other people, the good of the others. So I believe in a free market system. You and I like free market.
Oh, yep.
Right?
Free market's great.
Competition.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
so I like to see actually more of a fair free market in politics.
Yep.
So I'm not against Republicans. I'm not against Democrats because both platforms have good things to say. And then, of course, quite frankly, how we go about it is up for debate sometimes.
Yep.
And a lot of times, if you don't have an honest, perfect solution, you're not sure, it should be up for debate. And then you let the plan you do stand the test of time.
Yeah.
So, in a free market politics, I would like to see equal footing instead of a monopoly by Republicans and Democrats. We have an equal footing to all, like the independents, the libertarians, and so forth. But from one of the studies, a two-party system goes for gridlock. A strong three-party system is best because it kind of keeps everybody a little more honest and there's less.
I foresee that in the long term.
I hope so.
I think that.
And then they said, it's better than a three-party. A three-party is better than a four-party, and a five-party may or may not be better than a three-party. But
numbers. Hey, I'm not the biggest numbers guy.
no. I know, but
totally.
basically it's like a psychological, because it's like a triad. It's like an odd number thing,
Yep.
it keeps people. It keeps people from being able to conspire and to set up for fraud.
Definitely.
It keeps people from
Definitely.
doing it. So all of a sudden, people have to be more competitive.
Yep.
And do what the public wants instead of for the good of the party.
However, to expose this now, we're running on a relatively short time clock because as of the alleged election day, which was May 15th, the deadline for submitting the paperwork to demand a recount, complete recount, it can be done by a candidate or it can be done by a voter.
Right.
So there's a 35-day deadline from election day. However, that is set back because the results cannot be contested until the county clerks certify those results. So when I called them up and told them I demanded a recount, they said they're going to wait until the last day possible to certify those results, which was June 4th, obviously because they want to narrow the window of opportunity for the American people to expose this election fraud, because they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They are lying to the American people. They are being absolutely corrupt. They are abusing their authority and abusing their privilege of being able to participate in the democratic system, our republic system. And that's wrong.
So you think it's like...
When we have record low voter turnout, it should not take them the maximum amount of time possible to certify those results. If anything, they should have been able to do it quicker than ever before. If there's record low voter turnout, You know, what are they doing?
And if the deadline is passed.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause we have
completely ridiculous.
Lowest turnout.
Yep.
And then
Record low turnout should mean,
and then
yeah.
then it's over. It's like deadline, and deadline's over with. Yeah, it seems it's curious.
Yep. Suspicious, highly
so-
suspicious.
so, okay, so-
smells like voter fraud.
Okay,
smells like election
so
fraud.
Who would I mean? But you have Republicans and Democrats mainly in the game in the primary. So who would be most likely behind? What actor? Where would the actor be? What agent would be?
The Democratic Party, because they have the power.
Which one? The high from what level up? All the way up?
All the way up, because all these people, they're just playing their part of the game because they're trying to get higher up in the organization.
But that's a lot
And
of
top down orders a lot.
But I mean, you look at like the Lane Democratic. What is it? The Democratic Lane.
Democratic Party of Lane County,
Okay.
absolutely corrupt.
Well,
One of the
well-
most corrupt organizations in this country,
Okay,
in my opinion.
So you have they're the most successful for Democratic Party. Okay, and who knows why that is, but
Yeah, dirty money. And not playing by the rules either.
But there's a lot of people. How many people belong to the in position? I don't mean like voters. How many people actually belong to the party? People who are part of the
It's not
cabal.
the voters that count. It's the people who count the votes that count.
But-
so we're talking about 8 people.
Right.
8 people that count all the votes for the entire county.
And-
I wouldn't be at all surprised if 4 Democrats registered Republican just so they could be the 4 Republicans in there counting the Republican votes.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
So they're supposed to, okay. So then, but the thing is, behind that, there has got to be people.
I'm calling them out.
Well, the thing is, you're calling them out, but that would require a conspiracy, and that would right. I mean, that would require a conspiracy of willful intent for one or more people to commit fraud.
Yeah, I mean, conspiracy implies a more of a fictional thing. I think this is criminal.
Well, no, okay.
In my
but
opinion,
I'm
this
saying
is a criminal activity.
But the conspiring to commit a crime.
Yep.
And judges will use that. Conspiring to use the crime is even
Yep.
more than simply like a crime happened.
Yeah.
So sometimes people don't conspire. Things happen. People
Yep.
make bad judgments. It was a crime. It was bad. People
Yep.
get screwed over. But a conspiracy to commit corruption or to commit fraud or to commit this or that
Yep.
doesn't sound like a move. I mean, it sounds like, but I mean, it's more willful. It's more vicious. It's more, if that happens, it's actually heinous and evil.
It's widespread.
If that's what happened. But my point is, for a conspiracy to happen,
Yep.
more than one, for this to happen, more
Yep.
than one person has to be aware of the conspiracy or willful intent to commit fraud.
Yep.
So how many people would have to be, and that's just to me, maybe we'll never know, how many people from the top down and the bottom up have knowledge, had to have knowledge to make this happen?
Honestly, I don't know.
And you would think that somewhere along
That's
the
what
line,
I'm looking to find out.
yeah, and that's good.
Yep.
And it would somewhere
So I'm
along the
looking to
line,
find out.
you would think somebody would finally go, I can't live with this anymore.
Well,
Just
this
like
has
the
happened.
people who made the machines and said,
Yeah.
I can't live with
Yeah,
this
the people who
anymore.
made
Got
those
some-
machines.
okay.
You just type it in, YouTube, election fraud. There's mechanical engineers, software programmers that have gone and testified before elected bodies that these machines are rigged, the software is rigged, should not be used. I think we should count all the votes by hand every time.
Well, it's funny when you gave your idea,
Yep.
because I was actually getting ready to say,
Yep.
what I would like to see is a live streaming video
Yep.
on the headband
Yep.
of the people counting.
Yeah, we're talking about everybody wanting body cams for police officers. Why not
And
body
then after
cams for vote counters?
Right, and after it's
Yeah.
done, then nowadays with the technology, it's easy to make copies, compress it, and hand it out to interested parties out in the.
And importantly, who are these people counting the votes?
Well, who
Once
are they?
again, I don't know who they are. I know it's not like jury duty where they just randomly send mail out to 8 people and just ask them to come in and count the votes. I think that would be a much more accurate way to get the counting done.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why would somebody take all this time out of their day, several days, to count tens of thousands of ballots if they weren't getting anything out of it?
Well, they pay they pay people to count.
Well,
I mean, down there, like years ago, I applied there for a job. I could pick up this thing, the ballots. They said I go in a truck. One person would be with me.
but that's just the gravy. I'm talking about the biscuit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
There's a big old biscuit of election fraud.
Okay.
That's just got a little bit of that gravy on top of the celery, you know, and that's
But,
you got to keep your eye on the biscuit.
But I mean, a lot of people go in there to apply for a job. Are some of them volunteers?
I believe they're all paid, because when they told me, when I called about the recount, is that they have to pay for the man labors and the man hour to count all these votes.
Of course,
they
get to choose.
Yes, of
which
course
people
they
applied,
choose.
which
It's not like I can just go in there and offer to count them. I'd do it for free.
Theoretically,
I'd count those votes for free. I'd be counting votes for me all day long. I guarantee it. I know there's a big old stack of them.
When you think of it, there would be some counties say, well, this would just be too expensive. But, I bet there'd be a lot of retired people with nothing but time on their hands who would love to wear a streaming camera on their foreheads. We'll get rid of, you don't have to pay me a dime.
Yep, exactly.
I bet you
exactly.
Give me a sandwich and I'm happy.
There are patriots in this country who are willing to make the effort to guarantee a fair and balanced electoral system for our republic. And they're being denied that opportunity by a corrupt system that is manipulated, in my opinion, by limousine liberals, the deep state. And they do this from the bottom all the way up to the top.
No, Ventura was saying that politics is the way it's set up is like pro wrestling. There are certain people who are deciding, saying, okay, you Republicans win this time, or this specific Republican is going to win this time, this specific Democrat is going to win this time, and it goes back and forth. He says the game's rigged.
Well,
he says it's rigged on both sides, and then of course, when asked who's rigging it, then he talks about some very wealthy families and entities, some corporations and so forth, are basically the ones calling the shots. We want Obama to win this time. We want Bush to win this time.
Yeah, it's not the Russians. It's rich Americans.
Just families, people.
People
who are international or multinational or just who transcend.
The Russians don't care who wins the American election. I know Russians. People accused my campaign of having collusion with Russians. Which is ridiculous. The Russian girls I know, they don't even speak English.
So they say. So they have you believe.
Parlez-vous français? Oui, c'est bon. It's,
so now you're gonna demand a recount.
I am demanding a recount.
And you have a solution.
And the clock is ticking. As of this point right now, we've got less than a week to raise the money, to put in that paperwork, to demand a recount,
how much will the money
get
be?
the ball rolling.
How much money?
Well, guesstimating, because once again, the county clerks, they don't know, because nobody ever actually demands a recount, so they don't actually go through the effort of taking the time to count these votes.
Well, it's interesting. Are you making
There's seven.
Right now, here, you could actually make an appeal. To people out there to come and call you or contact you, volunteers, senior citizens, patriots. To also, you're not advertising any products or anything, but they could contact you and give you whatever, and you guys could discuss whatever resources you need. So we can't, we can't. This is no advertising on this show for money, for products, but you're looking for volunteers and for people to go down and or somehow get together with somebody to come up with the resources to meet the city of Eugene's requirements to do a recount, do a forced recount.
It's not the city of Eugene, it's the counties. The counties has to coordinate with each county. Demand has to be made as of Monday. That's our deadline. So it's all going to be on the website, www.votestrek.com.
Let me ask you.
Investigate election fraud. We got the GoFundMe set up. And we got the ball rolling. And, there's a lot of people out there. They are angry as hornets. There is a hornet's nest full of Americans that are upset about being lied to, about this phony Russia investigation. There's no Russia collusion. My campaign manager, Jason Sullivan, he was actually subpoenaed by Congress. He had to go and testify, waste his time going down to Congress.
When was this?
It was like 2 weeks ago. Mueller subpoenaed him.
Why?
Because Mueller's a total jerk.
No, what was the accusation?
Something about Russia. Jason Sullivan managed Trump's Twitter account, and I actually hired him to, help manage my Twitter account. And, he's a great guy. He's an honest American. He works hard. And the concept that Mueller would waste taxpayer money to bring a patriot in front of Congress, some part of horse and pony show just for Mueller to make himself a name when he has found nothing in 3 years of wasted time.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, the thing is that's and here's some friends of mine and I in the community coffee shop. We're talking, and so I have friends that are Democrats, friends that are Republicans, just friends that don't vote, all the whole thing. And this race was a very interesting race because it looked like there were more Republicans going for DeFazio's seat than I ever remember.
Right?
Right. A lot of Republicans.
There's been years where DeFazio ran without a Republican challenger.
Right.
And of course, the year that I sign up, there's four people that jump on.
So now,
just like when I ran for mayor.
Let's take our view off of DeFazio.
Yeah.
And we'll look at the candidates who are Republican candidates. You being one of them, Boyce.
Yep.
What was her name?
Perkins, Robinson.
Yeah, and all. So to be honest, out of all those, you did your due diligence.
Yep.
Whether there was a fraud or not, who do you think who was the most? And let's take Robinson out of this too.
All right.
Because there's some people who talk certain things about Robinson as far as he's had his people set up behind him for many years because he's been doing it for years.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You guys are new, Boyce is new, so forth and so on. So, out of all of yous, who would you feel was the biggest contender, aside from Robinson, to go? I mean, even if forget about who was more worthy and who would do a better job. I'm not asking that. I'm saying as far as perception with Republicans voting, who do you think would be the most daunting opponent to DeFazio?
Oh, me, absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, I know you. Okay, so do you think?
I remember last time I saw DeFazio, he looked me right in the eyes. I was actually wearing this same shirt, and he said, "This race could go either way, Democrat or Republican."
Right.
He wasn't talking about any of the other candidates.
Yeah.
He was talking to me specifically.
So
I could read his mind. He was thinking, "Oh, the new guy's got a tie-dye shirt. I'm out of a job.
Yeah.
I guarantee it."
All right.
That's exactly what DeFazio was thinking.
I mean, in a situation where there's like voter fraud and you got people targeting the Republicans, say.
Yep.
Do you think that they decide to grab a switch a certain percent of the votes from you, a certain amount from Boyce, a certain amount from whoever, or do you think it's just like
I think they're just making up the numbers. I think they're completely just making up the numbers. Because the way that they make it sound to me when I demand this recount, that they tell me that they have to go down, find the ballots, sort them, organize them, and then count them. And I think to myself, isn't that what they're supposed to have done already?
Okay.
Shouldn't there already be labeled sections that say these votes for these people?
Right.
There's no way that it can be that complicated if they've actually done the job that they're supposed to be doing.
I mean, okay, allow me to rephrase the question. Let's take Arthur Robinson off the table.
Yep.
Do you think that the remaining Republican opponents to DeFazio,
yep,
you think that every one of them would be a better choice for the Republican to get the seat, DeFazio's seat, if Arthur was not in the race? Somebody asked me that the other day.
Honestly, no. Honestly, I don't think that many people actually voted for Art Robinson. He's a nice guy, but he's already lost the general election 8 years in a row.
But he won the Republican primary this time.
He won the Republican primary the last 8 years also.
No, that's I'm talking about.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the primary.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you think that if Art wasn't in the pick, if he wasn't running,
Yep.
do you think that the Republicans that are there, you included, that were in the race, would have, because he obviously Art being in the race, whether he's worthy of the other opponents or not, he takes numbers away from you guys. You guys are competing against each other.
Not if they're making the numbers up.
No. Let's say if they're the hypothetically, if they're not making numbers up. I'm just trying to. We were talking about this. If Art, let's say there's no fraud, Art's in the race because they were saying just.
If there's no fraud, he's lost 4 times in a row. I honestly don't think the American people would make that decision a 5th time.
Well, but the thing is, if he wins, if there's no fraud, this is a hypothetical, as far as if there's no fraud.
Yep.
And all you guys are running. He's lost 4 times in the general election.
Yeah.
But he's been winning. He's either been uncontested in the primary,
Yep.
and this time he's contested.
Yep.
With some, I think, pretty impressive people.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he doesn't run the race, all fraud aside, would you say that this time?
Yep.
Would it be that? I mean, was there? One has to ask: was there fraud each and every time when he was running? But let's just say there's no fraud. Would you say that you guys, the Republicans, would have a better chance of defeating DeFazio if you didn't have Arthur Robinson taking the numbers from you guys in the primary?
No, I honestly don't think that he took any numbers. Honestly, I think he's just a nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a nice guy. I have nothing against him.
He himself is part of the system that's being manipulated by these deep state organizers. I don't think that Art Robinson has anything to do with manipulating the vote.
No, I didn't say manipulating the vote. I'm saying because he's been so successful as being the front runner, the challenge for so many years, even though he's lost the general, he's been the biggest challenger to DeFazio when DeFazio's even had a challenger.
Well, only challenger. Yeah,
right,
I mean,
right.
basically,
but, I mean, the thing
totally.
is, out of all you guys,
Yep.
I mean, if they're going to commit fraud, would they just say, well, overall they're taking numbers from Republicans to give the Democrats, or are they just saying, are they deciding to take the numbers away from you guys and letting Robinson have the lead? Or, I mean, I'm not sure how they would work that. That's what I was saying. If he wasn't in the lead, if he wasn't in the game, and if there's no fraud, do you think that you wouldn't have, that the Republicans wouldn't have a distraction of, just like Bernie and Hillary thing, A lot of people were distracted. Bernie took a lot of people from Hillary. He basically, a lot of people wanted Bernie, but then somehow Hillary won. But she was getting she had numbers that he was competing against, but from what I heard, he was basically.
Sorry, you're losing me on this. You're just completely losing me on this. Too much complicated.
Okay,
I'm a simple guy.
Okay.
You gotta have it really simple for me.
So,
I'm just saying that I think they're making these numbers up. They're completely making the numbers up. When they go in the back room, they may as well just throw a dart at the board and be like, okay, so bam, 20,000 here, 15,000 here, 40,000 over there, just, all right, call it a game, go home.
Well, I understand fraud could happen. I just wonder how far they would get into the mechanics. I mean, would they keep, how simple?
I think that's, I don't think, the more complicated the mechanics go, the less likely they are to succeed in their fraud. If they just straight up make it up, they take that box that, for example, I was buying liquor when I was 15 years old.
Right.
I knew which store to go to.
Right.
Where the guy behind the counter, I pull my ID out,
right.
Showed him my ID for the cameras.
Right.
He looks at it. All right, gives it back to me. I filled a duffel bag up with malt liquor and went on my way. It's exactly the same thing that they're doing in that elections office, where they got the cameras up there just for show. They run the ballots through the machine just for show. Then they go into the back room, crack a bottle, and make up the numbers and call it a night.
So
that's what I think happens. Honestly, from my experience.
We're running out of time, and I had to blame myself for going off because I was and I take full blame because I'm.
Hey, it's a good show. It's a good show.
But the thing is, anyways, the advice to the audience, to the voters. They need to contact you on Facebook. Where can they contact you to help?
On the website.
On the website.
www.votestrek.com. That's STREK. We got a section up on there, investigate voter fraud. We're demanding a recount. We're going to make this happen. This is a national issue. This isn't just the 4th District.
Sure.
This isn't just Oregon. We've got an entire country full of people that demand accountability from the system. And this is one of those rare opportunities. We're not getting this opportunity from other political candidates. They're just willing to roll over and play ball. I'm not just playing ball.
Yeah.
I'm playing hardball.
Sure.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
so you know,
Votestrek.com, VOTESTREK. We're going to get this recount.
right.
Monday morning, I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to Amsterdam, and the county officials, they're going to have to get to work counting those votes.
Right.
They're going to have to really count these votes. We're going to have it televised. We're going to have it live streamed so people can watch at home. And hey, I can watch from Amsterdam while I'm on vacation. I can say, oh, hey, look, there's that box with 70,000 votes with my name on it that they just forgot in the back.
Let me ask you. Okay,
Yeah.
now you're getting down to a situation.
Exactly.
And we're talking about voter fraud.
Yep,
And
election fraud,
And
rampant.
fraud.
Yep.
And let's just say
Yeah.
that allegedly it's true.
Hey,
So
I wouldn't be at all
if
surprised.
there was no fraud,
Yep,
if no fraud had happened,
yep.
who would be where in this election at the county level? Who would be where? Where would you be? Who would have won? Most likely won the Republican primary for DeFazio's seat. Who would have won which situation for the county commissioners? Who would have won at the Oregon state level for those office for Senate or representative? How do you think it would have turned out differently? Do you think it would have?
Well, naturally, DeFazio still would have gotten the nomination.
Sure.
If Jesus Christ himself rose from the dead and ran as a Democrat, he could not get the nomination away from Peter DeFazio. That's how corrupt that
But it
party
sounds
is.
like, according to the new system, his name is still on the ballot.
No?
Yeah. Jesus, his name's probably still on the ballot according to the system that you say is in place of all these.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. They're just silly.
So-
Totally. Well, yeah, I mean, I believe I would have won. I believe I did win. Honestly, on the ground, campaigning for over a year, longer than anyone else, even longer than before Art Robinson had his name on the ballot for this election.
Right.
I was ahead of the game by a solid 6 months.
Yeah.
There's no way that every single county that we went to, that everybody in the audience, all the party officials said, we like you, we want you to get in this position.
See, and that's what I meant by complex.
Yeah.
Maybe it did get complex because
Yeah.
you
Similarly, I think Sam Carpenter would have gotten the nomination for governor.
okay.
Because, driving up and down the highway, see Sam Carpenter signs all over.
Right.
All over.
Right.
He had massive support.
Right.
And the way that they threw this to Newt Bueller, who, once again, great speaker. The guy knows how to give a speech. But he just did not have the support from anyone except the deep state.
Okay.
Those are the people that supported him, the people with big money. There weren't any hardcore Republicans that came out supporting him from the start. Totally.
So
Yeah.
I mean, and what other Republicans ran that didn't get it?
About 9 other Republicans ran for governor.
Or not just governor, but say a state rep, so forth. I mean,
I don't keep a list of names of all that. I was too busy paying
Okay.
attention to my race.
Oh,
It's
okay, yeah.
I met a lot of people.
Yeah.
I remember very few names, but
Okay.
they remember me, and they all say they like
Okay.
what I had to
Yeah,
do,
well,
which I find
have a lot of-
fantastic.
you say a lot of compelling
Totally,
stuff.
totally.
I
Yeah.
gotta admit, you say a lot of compelling
Yeah.
stuff. So, really great having this show. We're kind of winding up right now.
Hey, great to be here,
We're
Vincent.
going to have you,
Totally, yeah.
people contact Stefan Streck.
Yep, Stefan
And-
Streck, definitely.
And,
Yep.
and now, just real quick, for the sake of argument,
Yep.
that the recount doesn't come through or doesn't come through in your favor, you have other irons in the fire, other goals, as other. Maybe you're not going to get the gold ring, but you're going to go for a couple silver or brass rings. Or you?
I've made some connections.
What's your current and future plans? You're going to stay in politics.
Yeah, so I want to stay in politics.
Okay.
There's other people who want me to stay in politics
Sure.
as well. I've got a well-organized team that's going to be assisting with filing, paperwork, documentation, stuff like that. And in my off time, I want to do some charity work to help legalize prostitution. I think this is very important. This is important for women's rights, women's safety, and I think it'll make our communities safer
Yeah. I need a
Definitely.
job too, so let's not forget about male prostitution.
There's a place for everybody. Totally.
As long as it has a dental plan, it's got to have a dental plan.
Yeah, so this is going to be part of my research while I'm in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Is some community outreach
Yeah.
to the prostitution industry
You've
to
been there
find
before,
out.
right?
Yes, I have been there
Okay,
before.
okay, yeah.
Yes. So we're going to find out how to make America safe again
Yeah.
by legalizing prostitution. I've got a charity set up, Thoughtful Locals for Strong Communities, who will help organize this. And we're going to get some progress done, both to decriminalize prostitution, to make sure that women are safe, and the men who participate, on both sides of the table, so to speak, are safe.
Yeah.
Because safety is important.
Sure.
We don't need violence against women in this country.
Yeah.
I have a zero tolerance policy for violence against women.
Right.
I have a zero tolerance policy for violence in general.
Right.
And I think this is a great way to both stimulate the economy, provide safety for America's women, improve the economy, and, just put America on an equal playing field
Yeah.
with most other industrialized countries.
Yeah.
There's legalized prostitution in Australia, legalized prostitution in France,
Nevada?
not that far away.
Yeah.
And, this is a part of America that's been ignored for too long and stigmatized for too long.
Yeah.
Now, this is 110% a charity aspect, because I've heard too much about abuse that happens because women cannot seek help and protection from the law
Yeah.
because of the harsh laws
Right.
that put women in danger when they seek help.
When I was over in Amsterdam, now I didn't, a lot of my friends asked if I saw the red light district. Yes, I did not participate. I don't smoke pot, so I didn't participate in the pot or drugs. I don't do drugs or anything. But I believe in people's personal freedoms, as
Yes.
long as they're not imposing their will on other people or doing things with kids and so forth, so on, or committing violence and things
Yep.
like that. So I was very impressed with the Netherlands, and their education, their way of thinking.
It's an excellent model for promoting safety and health and a positive economy.
Oh, it's just, and the thing, they produce, considering they don't have the great wealth of natural resources that something like Canada, the United States, and other has. They do a lot of technology.
Amazing technology. They're geniuses.
Oh, they're probably one of the most educated people on earth.
Yeah, I have friends that work in the oil industry over in the Netherlands, and we're going to do some good work to try and see what we can do
Yeah.
to improve America's economy, improve the safety for women,
Yeah.
and improve our national health care system also.
There's a lot they can
Yeah.
teach us. So you're going to be involved with charities, and you're going to be involved in politics.
Definitely.
Something somewhere. The one thing that, again, not being a nonpartisan, not a Republican or a Democrat, I have seen a lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans do some amazing things for our country,
Yep.
amazing things for the community. And in
One day at a
between,
time. Yep.
and in between offices,
Yep.
before running for politics, in between offices and after, like President Carter when he's retired,
Yeah, yep.
He's a Democrat, but he's done so much for the country since he's been out of office.
Hey.
Right, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
that's what he's doing. And by the way, before you go to Amsterdam,
Yep.
I'm going to be doing some walking to raise money for women's space and so forth.
Excellent.
I want you to, before you go to Amsterdam, just for a couple hours, just walk with me towards Cresswell. I hope you will.
All right. We can make a deal.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm all about deals. I make good
Okay,
deals.
good.
Yeah, there's very few people in this
and you'll
country
get a nice shirt
who
out
make
of the
better
deal.
deals.
You'll get a nice
All right.
Vinsanity and
All
Break
right.
the Pain shirt.
Yeah.
So, because there's a lot of people who can't afford personal training.
Yep.
But there's people who will say, hey, I'll come sweat with you in the morning. I'll
Hey.
walk with you, and I'll buy this T-shirt and I'll buy this book, and the money's going to be going towards affordable housing for
Yep.
people on limited incomes.
Right up.
Because I believe in the free market, and
Definitely.
I believe that I would prefer to see us as citizens,
Yep.
if you can, towards the goal of raising money for charity.
Yep.
Have people raise their own money from their businesses, their own personal wealth, to avoid depleting our tax reserves.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's why I like to see entrepreneurs, more of them, just say, and a lot of entrepreneurs do. A lot of foundations and things come more from the private sector than
Totally.
anything else, right?
Totally.
And so You know, I want to see more where people say amongst themselves, "Hey, we'll work and we'll give 10%. We don't need to be religious. We don't need to be a charity organization. We don't need this and that. We're business owners.
Yep,
we're workers. We'll come forward as a community and volunteer our money and our time and our skills and have fun. And start creating affordable houses for people without going to the government.
Yep, the free market system. Exactly. That's what has made America great from the start.
And I like
Definitely.
that concept to be used in government as well. Free
Absolutely.
market, you know, so
Absolutely.
because that way everybody starts to compete.
Yep.
They don't say, well, you know, I'm going to do this for political reasons. They do it to earn the respect and the patronage of the citizens.
Yep.
And so that's what I'm for. But
one day at a time. Thank you, Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah, crushing it.
All
All
right.
right.
Talking to you.
And thank you for viewing at home once again. www.votestrek.com.
And this is Vinsanity Unplugged. Vincent Faney signing off, and we have certainly found ourselves, you know, definitely a guy who's thinking outside the box.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.